When I can get something that at least goes somewhat down the middle, I know I've done my job.
This is Steve Simmons, a writer for the Toronto Sun. Simmons is well known in Canada. The articles he writes serve his vision of being a bombastic personality, and he has received his fair share of backlash for it.
And I can guarantee you every single black hockey player has, been called, a racial slur at some point in their career.
The latest involves 14-year NHL veteran Wayne Simmons.
It's been a tough road, and obviously I've bumped in a lot of barriers with racism and discrimination.
And former NHL player Hakeem Aliu, who blew the whistle on longtime NHL coach Bill Peters' racism, including Peters' use of the N-word while with the Blackhawks' AHL affiliate team. Simmons' comments are yet another instance of the writer simply getting it wrong, of which there are plenty. Here's what he wrote. No one wants to say this because of the politically correct police and all, but those who coached Hakeem Aliu must cringe every time they see him in a news report or a commercial talking about what's wrong with hockey. Let's dissect this for a moment. His opening line on PC is odd, because it's always the case with those who attack political correctness. They demand the right to say offensive things, a right they already have, but pretend they don't, and argue that no one has a right to not be offended. Next, making a speculative remark about a guy who was told at a team party, hey, look, this guy dressed up as you for Halloween while donning blackface. Well, guess what? Those same coaches let him down, including Peters. If he, along with others who think like him, are peeved at Aliu tackling racism in hockey, then Hakeem is clearly doing something right, including him joining the Hockey Diversity Alliance with one mission: to eradicate racism and intolerance in hockey while getting more POCs to play the game. Respectfully, if one were a former coach of Hakeem Aliu's, who believes in diversity, who believes in anti-racism, who believes in inclusivity, they would be proud. Simmons is just showing us who he is at this point. And we pick up where Simmons left off. Like Hakeem Aliu would know what's wrong with hockey. By my count, Aliu played for 23 teams in 9 different leagues in 12 professional seasons and rarely finished any season with the same team he started with. If that was color related, how is it that Wayne Simmons spent just about the same 12 seasons playing in the NHL? Of course, Simmons then pins Aliu against Wayne Simmons, who we showed you previously.
Last fall, a fan threw a banana peel on the ice just as Wayne Simmons, who is black, was making a shootout attempt.
And has also dealt with racism in hockey, along with then Washington Caps man Devontae Smith-Pelly, New York Rangers defenseman Keandre Miller, longtime NHL player Joel Ward, and countless others from the pros to the minors and all the way to just starting out in the game. Ask Divine Apollon about his experience when he was just 13 years of age, when he was called the N-word and told to go play basketball. Ask Ty Cornett of his experience at the age of 10 when he dealt with racism in hockey. These are real-life experiences folks like Simmons, at this point, intentionally put the blinders on for, or simply don't care to ever understand. There is little to no representation in the game. That is why Hakeem Aliu and many more have been trying to change it. I really don't appreciate what you're trying to do, Steve Simmons. Your article was asinine and in no way reflects the real plight that myself, Hakeem, and other players of color go through, wrote Wayne Simmons.
Only reason I'm addressing this is because it's all over the internet. I've seen Steve talk negatively about me for some time now, and the funny thing is I've never spoken to him or met him in my life. I actually found out about what he said through other members of the Hockey Diversity Alliance. People like Steve are what's wrong with society. This is the first time in history the crucial conversation of race is prevalent in hockey, and I believe my stirring, which the HDA is doing, is a major reason for that.
So no, it's not Xbox. It's not Legos. Okay? It's not Disney or any stupidity that they want to bring to the forefront, which also I now bring in the name of stupidity. David Hookstead, a Republican writer who built his following with the Daily Caller, which was founded by this guy.
But the whole thing is a lie. If you were to assemble a list, a hierarchy of concerns, of problems this country faces, where would white supremacy be on the list? It's actually not a real problem in America. I mean, Seriously. White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
It's true. You debate politics with a woman and just go, just full blown out there, especially feminism. If you're talking to a feminist and she's giving you, men really need to be more sensitive and this, actually men don't need to be more sensitive. You just need to be quiet and kind of do what you're told.
Hookstead has moved on to, you guessed it, Clay Travis's venture, which means less accuracy and more controversy, the better. Thus, he would tweet the following. ESPN has gone so woke, its top 2 stories today are about women's college basketball. Not the men's tournament, not NFL free agency, and not the upcoming NFL draft. Women's college basketball takes the top 2 spot at ESPN. Who is asking for this? First things first. Let's do this. First things first. Was the men's tournament being played on that day? No. Secondly, last year's championship game between South Carolina and UConn averaged 4.85 million viewers on ESPN, the most watched women's championship game since 2004. Third, since we're on the topic, you brought it up. The women's tournament averaged 634,000 viewers per game, a 16% increase over 2021, with many of the rounds seeing their highest averages in more than 10 years. So just to, dispel the who is talking about this point, I mean, there's a good audience for it.
Who you crapping?
Fourth, ESPN signed a deal back in 2011 to carry the women's tournament through the 2023-2024 school year. Is it unwise to simply ponder that a major sports outlet that made a deal to broadcast the games would, promote the games? What a grand idea.
Who you crapping?
Let's play into Hookstad's hypothetical, though. Why isn't NFL free agency front page? I don't know, man. Should they lead SportsCenter and ESPN.com with Ronald Jones signing with the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, no disrespect to Ronald Jones, and certainly no disrespect to ESPN's coverage of the Dallas Cowboys, because, boy, they never pass up the opportunity. But hey, let's go over Ronald Jones. That's what we should be doing. What I see is the following from this man. It's kind of simple, actually. Misogyny. And intentionally misusing a word conservatives cling to because they have no other defense, and using it for blanket coverage stupidity. Just to give an idea on how porous of a tweet this was, check out how bad Hookstead was ratioed into oblivion. This poor, small-minded man